What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. Today I have a subscriber story that was sent in about a crazy ex-girlfriend. That definitely isn't something that we haven't seen before. But I will say, dog, a girl's dad showing up to fight you because you broke up with her because he was crazy definitely isn't something I've seen before. This is definitely gonna be a longer video, and I know you guys usually love those. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Be sure to press the like button, or no joke, no scam whatsoever, your next girlfriend's dad is going to be a psychopath with a criminal record and a whole lot of weapons. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into it.
The sun's down and I'm feeling it right, so tell me, little mama, what you doing tonight? You know I'm trying to hit it, I'm being polite.
Alright, so obviously there comes a time in a relationship where, like, you're gonna have to meet their parents, they're gonna have to meet yours. Eventually the relationship just gets serious enough where that's gotta go down. And this guy had happened to get involved with a girl to the point where he was ready to meet her parents. In fact, he was, like, excited to meet a girl's parents. And if you've ever been there, you know that level of simp is very hard to mess up. Like, this guy in his message admits that he was so far into simping, he was falling asleep on FaceTime, ditching the boys every day. Like, this girl definitely had him wrapped around her finger a little bit. And one day she's like, hey, I know you want to meet my parents, they want to meet you, so we're gonna make it happen. And when a girl says, like, hey, you're gonna have to meet my family, it's not like you can really say no. There's really isn't a good way to turn that one down. Like, nah, to be honest, meeting your family just sounds awful. The people who made you can't be very fun to be around, so in the best interest of my health, no, I don't want to. Like, that's how you definitely lose the relationship for sure. So when she says she's gonna set it up, he's got no choice but to really agree. And meeting a girl's family is always intimidating. I've only done it a couple times, but every time that I have, dude, it's just horrifying. Not because, you know, like, it's scary really. The reality of it isn't scary, but it's really easy to get in your own head about it. You know what I'm saying? Especially meeting the girlfriend's dad. There's a stereotype for a reason that the girlfriend's dad isn't gonna like you. I personally haven't had, like, okay, I lied. I've had some bad experiences, but y'all get what I'm saying. Compared to this story time, it wasn't too bad. But this guy was really nervous to meet her family. Regardless, he knows it's something he has to do, but his girlfriend really isn't helping his case whatsoever. Like, I don't know, if I was dating somebody and they started getting really uncomfortable or scared about something, I feel like it's kind of your job to help them calm down, get out of their head a little bit, even if you're maybe lying to them a little bit. I feel like I would rather you tell me that I'm gonna do great and everything's gonna be fine than, like, me tell you I'm nervous for something and then you just crap all over my dreams. Yeah, you should be nervous. My dad's probably gonna hate you. Like, that would just really suck to hear. But as this guy's really nervous, especially to meet the dad, she keeps telling him that, you know, her family's very protective and he needs to prepare for that and da-da-da-da-da. And she knows that her dad's gonna do some things, but, like, she's not gonna tell him what it is. And that's really messed up, dog. Like, if you're aware of the fact that your dad's gonna have some weird tests I'm gonna have to pass, the least you could do is give me a little bit of a heads up, or not tell me that I'm going to be secretly tested all night. I wasn't in this guy's shoes, but this sounds just like an anxiety storm waiting to happen. So he just has this ominous threat over his head that, like, tonight is make or break. If he messes up, they won't be able to date. Her family's very protective. And that means, you know, a lot of fear when he's going into this girl's house. He has no clue what's about to go on. Like, are her parents about to give him the quiz like Jeopardy? Should he be doing squats to get stronger with his legs in case they challenge him to a karate kick competition? He doesn't really know. Anyways, for a couple days he's freaking out, but the day finally comes for him to, like, meet everybody. And he's scared, but he pulls up to this house and it isn't what he expected. I'm not saying you can judge a book by the cover, okay? Like, obviously, when you pull up to somebody's house, you know, it's wrong to judge them 100%. That being said, the reason it wasn't what he expected was, like, instead of a front yard, there was what appeared to be like a trash heap literally over the top of his car. That's how tall it was just like a pile of trash bags that were full. There were 3 broken toilets in the front yard, half a car. I don't even know where you get half a car. Like, do you have to special order that? Do you pay for that as a decoration? How did it get there? Where did the other half go? This is the question. Somebody had to have moved a half of a car somewhere, whether they left this half here or you know, moved it here, where do you get half a car? And why 3 broken toilets? You think after the second one piles up, you'd go, we gotta do something about this broken toilet situation. Regardless, he's just kind of going through this junkyard, and he knocks on the door, and he's standing there for what feels like forever. And all of a sudden, the door like swings open, but pretty aggressively, not like somebody who was excited to see who it was through the peephole, you know? The same way you would open the door if you looked out the peephole and it was your annoying neighbor, like tapping their foot with a letter. You just know it's about to not be a very fun time. Yeah, that was like the level of aggression this door swings open there with. And standing there is this ginormous dude with a huge beer gut, right? And he's like, "You must be my daughter's boyfriend. I gotta say, you look like a little bit of a dork. I expected more from my daughter." Which is definitely a little bit of a rude introduction there, dog. Like, this giant dude standing here looking like Shrek is apparently her dad. And he just opens it up with saying that, like, "I expected better from my daughter. You're kind of fugly." Damn, dog, the least you could do is tell me this after I've eaten dinner at your house. Anyways, he kind of laughs, the subscriber does, and like goes to shake the dad's hand, which is obviously what they teach you to do. Like, whenever you meet somebody, give him a firm handshake, look him in the eye, all that good stuff. And when he goes to shake the dad's hand, the dad just like stares at him, just gives him this super blank stare, almost like he's looking through him. And they're just making awkward eye contact, and finally the dad goes, "I'm not gonna shake your hand, bud. Nice try." And the subscriber is like, okay, well, I'm not really sure what to do in this situation, bro. I don't know why you allowed your daughter to invite me over and agreed to have me over if you're just gonna insult me and like not shake my hand. You didn't have to say yes, bro. And even then, this is just awkward. Like, I don't know what you would do after somebody just calls you a dork that doesn't look good enough to date their daughter and then doesn't shake your hand and is like, "No." So the dad just walks into the house, and the kid is just standing there not really knowing what to do, and the dad's like, "All right, follow me." So he's kind of following the dad through the house, and you know, he's kind of like, this is very awkward, because it was. And the dad's kind of leading him through the house, and all over the wall is like family pictures and whatnot. And they get to this like room, and he tells the kid to go in, and he does. And on the table is like all these weapons that he's cleaning, bro. And the dad picks up this shotgun he's cleaning, and he flexes it, and he's like, "Yeah, I just cleaned this bad boy. You know what I call this? This is the Punisher." Like, okay, buddy, how about you just relax? The only thing that you punished with that shotgun is your own bank account. Let's be realistic. You couldn't hit a clay pigeon if it was the size of a barn flying through the sky. Like, you know, what was that movie where the chickens escaped? Chicken Run, that's what it was. And listen, I get it, bro. You want your daughter to be safe. You don't want her to get her feelings hurt. That's fine. But you know how cliche it is to be cleaning guns when the guy comes over, bro? You might as well just get a Facebook shirt that talks about how awesome you are and how you're born in September or whatever. Might as well slap a post on Facebook saying, "I'm cliche and old." So the dad starts the whole, "I have a lot of weapons, and you know, I've got friends that could help me make you disappear," basically threatening to like make this kid disappear. And listen, like I said, I get it, but bro, these kids are like 15, dude. This kid is probably about to crap himself at the prospect of you sending a bunch of dudes to hunt him down. And it's just not that deep. Like, you are making it the Marianas Trench, right? You're like, "Oh, James Cameron and his submarine down here looking at blobfish." And it's kind of like Bikini Bottom deep. It's not that bad, you know. It's SpongeBob and Patrick, they're kind of vibing here. You're just kind of escalating things. So the dad is kind of sitting here like threatening this kid, and he doesn't really know what to say. He's not looking visibly scared. In his head, he's kind of like, bro, this guy's just being a jerk for no reason. And then he does something that I don't think the dad expected. The kid starts like, "Oh yeah, who are your friends? Like, who are they?" And the dad kind of sits back and is kind of like, what do you mean? And the kid is just asking who his friends were. And I think the dad had expected this kid to literally start crapping himself, but all of a sudden he's like not freaking out, and the dad really didn't know what to do. So he just kind of looks at him for a little bit and says, well, that was really all I wanted to show you in here. Like, homie had literally just brought him in here to threaten him really quick, and like when it didn't work that well, is like, well, I want nothing else to do with you. I was just trying to live out my ego man fantasy so I can talk about it with the boys later at the bar. And like around that same time, he starts asking for his wife loudly, like, "Honey, come here." And in walks his girlfriend's mom, and she's standing there, and she does the whole, "Oh my gosh, it's so nice to meet you." We all know the fake thing that that moms do when they meet someone new where they act excited. And she's like, come with me, come with me. And she starts giving him a tour of their house, which, you know, when your girlfriend's mom says like, follow me, you're not going to say no. So he's getting this tour and she's showing him the house and he's kind of talking with her and he's making her laugh. He's telling her jokes and he's like, dang, this is going really well. You know, the mom at least likes me. Sure, the dad's kind of crazy, but whatever. If the mom is like, oh, he was so sweet, that'll make his girlfriend happy. And they're kind of getting toured around and he does think it's kind of weird that his girlfriend isn't here. Like, he doesn't know where his girlfriend is. You know what I mean? And the mom's showing him around and they get to the master bedroom. And when they go into the master bedroom, the mom closes the door behind him. And he's like, well, that's kind of weird. And she kind of starts like talking to him and touching his shoulder and stuff. And in his head, he's like, bro, is her mom hitting on me right now? And he's kind of talking to himself in his head and he's like, no way. Okay. Like that wouldn't happen. That's ridiculous. But sure enough, she keeps saying stuff. She's like, oh my gosh, I see why my daughter likes you. You're so handsome. Like, my goodness, you're so handsome. And the kid is just like, thank you. And the mom goes to give him a hug and he kind of backs away. And the mom looks at him all shy and is like, well, you know, I'm glad to see that my daughter has picked a gentleman. And the kid is kind of like, what are you talking about? And the mom is like, that was a test to see if you would stay loyal to my daughter, like with a real woman hitting on you. And the kid is like, bro, are these stupid tests that my girlfriend was talking about? You know those houses along routes in Pokemon where you have to go in and like battle each person one by one? That's basically what this kid is in, dude. He had to like not be afraid of the dad to get to the mom who was gonna test him, and like, who else knows who else is in here, bro? Grandma Muriel might come out of the closet with another shotgun, like, all right, boy, let's have a 1v1. I've only got 8 seconds left to live anyways. He's just kind of sitting here like, what the heck? So the mom now is acting like everything's super normal, as if that was just like a super normal thing to say in this situation, and starts laughing it off and is like, well, the only other family member that you have left to meet is her brother. And like the way she says it, she's sounding all excited. And the kid is like, okay. At this point, he's just confused, dude. He feels like he's living in a bad Hollywood B movie from the 70s. And there's a knock on the parents' bedroom door. And sure enough, it opens and standing there is this kid who's probably about 7-8 inches shorter than the subscriber who sent this in. And he's kind of like looking up at him a little bit because they're relatively close together. Like, it wasn't far enough away for them to make eye contact without the subscriber looking down and this kid looking up. Which, I'm not saying anything bad about short people, but it's a very hard position to be intimidating from when you're kind of like literally looking up to the person. You know what I mean? And he's like, oh, so you're the guy that wants to date my sister, huh? You think that you can just come in here and date her without talking to me first? And the kid is kind of like, hi, I'm blah, 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 and goes to shake his hand, and the brother's like, no, we don't shake hands around here. You know what we do when we meet men? And he's like, no, and he's like, follow me to the backyard, and kind of grabs his arm and starts leading him to the backyard. And they go out into the backyard, and he's like, I want you to fight me. And the kid is like, what are you talking about, dude? You're my girlfriend's brother. I don't want to fight you. Like, I feel like that's awkward. And the brother starts giving him this like anime speech about how he has to make sure that he can defend his sister's honor. And like, listen, I understand wanting to make sure your sister is safe, bro, but I feel like the first time you meet somebody, you don't pull them into the backyard and ask them to fist fight you to like prove they can protect someone's honor. This is not an anime, bro. Some of y'all just be binge watching too much Netflix and think you're living in a Cobra Kai spinoff. It's just not the case. Not everybody is ready to have a karate fight for like every reason. Anyways, he tries to explain to this girl's brother, like, I don't really want to fight you, bro. I'm here to eat dinner with your family. I'm really not trying to karate fight you. I'm just not. And he's like, well, I don't care what you're up to. And he goes to punch him. And so the kid who's bigger than him just kind of blocks the punch. And the brother reacts to his punch being blocked by being like, huh, nice one. And then he goes to do what I'm assuming he had to have seen in an anime or a TV show. He goes to do like a spin kick. So at least the way it's described, imagine that you're holding someone's right arm with your right hand, right? And then they try to like do a spin kick and bring their foot over your right arm and kick you in the head. And that's what this kid tries to do. He literally tries to do like a ninja combat move. Even Aang from the Avatar would have a hard time with this, and he's bending the air to like make it possible, you know? So of course when he tries to do this, he just doesn't let go of his other leg, and all the momentum he thought he was gonna have to kick him in the head just doesn't happen. And the brother just kind of like falls and hits his head on the grass. And as soon as he hits his head on the grass, this like karate kid, who by the way is older than the subscriber. The brother was like 16, 17. This kid is is 15 when this is going down, just bursts into tears and is like, oh. Bro, how are you just challenging somebody to combat and now you're like crying at the fact that you managed to hit your own head? I'm sorry, you're clearly not a master at combat if you knock yourself out of the fight. You know what I mean? I don't think there was ever a time where Bruce Lee was using nunchucks to fight somebody and like accidentally managed to knock out both of his front teeth. Only people that think they're really good at karate end up doing that. I'm just saying. And at that point, the back door swings open, and for the first time the entire night at her house, he sees his girlfriend, and his girlfriend runs out. She's like, what did you do to my brother? What did you do to my brother? And he's like, I didn't do anything. Like, he did it to himself. And she's just sitting there like, you expect me to believe that he just made himself cry? And the guy's like, yeah, because he kind of did. I don't know. Your brother has a thing for knocking himself out. I'm not too sure. And the girlfriend is pissed, which I guess without context, if you came out to your brother crying and your boyfriend being like, oops, I made him cry, would be pretty awkward. But when your brother is also standing there like challenging him to fight to the death, I don't really know what you expect him to do, dude. Like, he kind of had to defend himself. Anyways, at that point, the mom comes out and she's like, dinner's ready. And for whatever reason, the mom just doesn't seem fazed by her son crying at all. And as soon as the mom says that dinner is ready, the girlfriend is just like, whatever, and just goes inside. And at this point, this kid is convinced that this is going horribly. He's like, this is so awkward. It can't possibly get worse. I don't know how dinner's gonna go. And they go and they sit down for dinner, and he says that it was literally silent. Like, nobody said a word almost the entire time. The only things that were said in the beginning part of the dinner were like, pass the potatoes, and then him saying please and thank you so much for bringing me, like all that good stuff. Everybody else was just eating in silence and kind of like staring at him. In fact, he said that for whatever reason, her dad was like watching him eat, dude. The way his jaw was moving, he could like feel the dad just staring at him. And I don't know if this is some weird thing, like you can tell a lot about a man by the way he eats dinner or whatever. Like, it probably was. But I feel like eating with somebody watching you is just very uncomfortable. Y'all ever tried to put something fully in your mouth while making eye contact with somebody? It's not a very good time, bro. It's just really awkward. Take it from somebody that has pictures of himself floating around the internet with me with my entire fist in my mouth. It's just not a good time. So having somebody watch you in complete silence when you're like supposed to be making a good first impression probably sucks. Anyways, the dinner is pretty good, and he's trying to make small talk the entire time, and her family's just basically ignoring him, and he just gives up about halfway through the dinner and just sits in silence. And towards the end of the dinner, the mom is like, well, I've had a great time. It's been great to get to know you. And the kid is like, yeah, you too. Super confused because they didn't even get to know each other. They've just been sitting in silence eating. She tried to hit on him. Her husband showed him the gun collection, and then her son tried to fight him in the backyard and managed to knock himself out. I don't really know how you can know a lot about somebody after a situation like that, but hey, I guess that's why I don't know people. I'm always saying I don't have enough close friends. Maybe it's because I've never challenged them to combat. So after that very awkward dinner, this kid is basically like, I cannot wait to get out of here. This entire situation has been awkward. Anything that leads to me being away from here is fantastic. So the time finally comes to leave, and he kind of splits out of there, and the entire drive home, he's just thinking to himself like, that was terrible, bro. This relationship's gotta be over. I can't believe all that happened. He's just really sitting there in disbelief. And he finally gets home, and he like takes a shower to just kind of relax a little bit before he inevitably like reads the text from this girl saying they're over. And honestly, he's kind of relieved. He's like, that was just crazy. I don't know if I could be around that, you know? And he gets out of the shower, and when he checks his phone, the text message that he has is very surprising, dude. You would think after that situation it would have been bad. But the text message is her being like, oh my god, that went so incredible. Like, wow, that was so great. And he is so confused. So he asks her, he's like, what do you mean it went great? Are you being sarcastic? And she's like, no, the fact that, you know, you said no when my mom hit on you says a lot about your character. And he's like, you knew that your mom was gonna hit on me when I came to meet them and you didn't warn me? And she's like, yeah, well, if I warned you, then you would have known about the test, and like you would have known it wasn't real, so you wouldn't have passed. And the guy's like, did you know your brother was gonna try to fight me? And she's like, yeah, but I saw him get hurt, and like, you know, I didn't want him to get hurt anymore, so I came out to end things. And the guy at this point is like, oh, this chick is just crazy, bro. Like, I'm sorry, if you invite me over to your house and then subconsciously subconsciously, like, mess with me by your mom fake hitting on me while you know about it and you're just watching from another room. That's just crazy. And even then, why not warn me that your brother's gonna try to, like, challenge me to combat and then make him feel like a bad person for it? I don't know, dog. It just seems like a wild situation. Poor guy was really going through it. But at that point, he's like, oh, this is wild. And they keep talking a little bit, and, you know, she's explaining more and more about how, like, basically everything was planned, and they were all quiet at dinner because they just wanted to see how he would react. Basically, this family was just using him as, like, their little psychological experiment for the evening, bro. Pretty horror movie, if you ask me. Get Out sequel. But yeah, they're just basically admitting that, like, all of that was fake, none of it was real, and the guy is just, you know, not on board for this. I'm sorry, bro, but if I come to meet your parents and they're, like, psychologically evaluating me and nothing I do is right, and then, like, they're just purposely being weird and making this guy feel bad, that sucks, and I don't want to be around that at all. But the girl is acting like it's hilarious, dude. She's like, isn't that kind of funny? Oh my goodness, like, you're the first person to ever pass. Most people don't make it through all of it. They leave when my brother tries to fight him or something, or they're scared of my dad. And the guy is like, so this test happens frequently? And she says, yeah, you're like the fourth person to take it, which means this is normal, bro. Like, they think this is normal. This wasn't just a one-off that got a little bit out of control one time or whatever. Like, this is just a normal thing. They feel like taking a test is part of the ritual to be able to date their family, dog. I wonder what they do for the son's girlfriends. Did the mom, like, threaten to rip her nails off with pliers? Like, honestly, I don't really understand how this can prove anything. And she's just thinking it's hilarious, and he's just letting her kind of talk, and as she's talking, he starts texting a couple of his friends kind of asking for what he should do. And thankfully, the boys at that point were like, dog, you gotta get out of there. Like, this is just too wild. There's no reason for you to be doing this. And him and the boys are kind of arguing a little bit. You know, he's like, oh, but I like her. And they're like, dude, listen, if that's the first time they met him, it's only gonna get weirder from here, bro. Like, people become more of themselves. And if they're doing all these weird tests the first time they meet you, what makes you think they're gonna just, like, stop testing you now all of a sudden? You think it's just gonna be over like that? What if this is a test to see how you react to the test of the test of the test? And at that point, he's like, all right, I'm gonna have to end things, you know? He comes to the logical conclusion that things just gotta be over from now on, and he's gonna have to do it. He goes to bed that night, though. He, like, didn't want to do it that same night, but the next day he wakes up and he texts the girl and he's like, hey, can we talk later tonight? And she says yes. So after work, he, like, went back to her house, picked her up, they went on a drive, he, like, got her a milkshake, he brought her back to outside of her house, and he puts the car in park, and he starts kind of telling her, look, you know, it's not you, it's me, just basically trying to make it as, you know, strong as possible that she had nothing to do with this. This is all him. And obviously it was, like, because her family was crazy, but you can't really tell someone that because chances are they're gonna take that worse than you just, like, you know, being honest, especially because she was so excited about it. Like, she was the one sitting there saying how great it went and how fun it was to test him and whatnot. So, but you know, he's kind of just, like, trying to avoid mentioning that that's the reason he's trying to get out of there, because she's very, very passionate about it. But as he starts to break up with her, bro, she does not start taking it well at all. She starts screaming at him, saying that, like, he's the biggest jerk ever, and it's people like him that, you know, deserve to be run over. She's just going off on him, and he's just kind of letting her, and he's like, yeah, I understand why you're mad, I get it, and he's just like, dude, thank goodness I'm getting out of here, because she just starts tearing into him, like, saying all these insulting things, just popping off, and as she's yelling at him, he's just kind of sitting there taking it, just nodding his head, and finally she stops for a second, and she looks at him, and she's like, well, are you gonna react? And he kind of looks at her, and he's like, no, and she just gets out of the car pissed, slams the door, and just stomps inside to her house, and he's just kind of sitting there, and he decides, like, well, I guess that's it, and he's driving away. And as he's driving away, he starts getting a call from her, so he answers it, and she's like, you just drove away, that's it, it's over. And he's like, yeah, I know, I broke up with you. And she's like, no, I'm done with you. She tried to, like, reverse Uno card it, and the guy was just super confused. So he goes home, he's just chilling in bed. He thinks everything is absolutely cool. Like, yeah, she's pissed, but he doesn't think he's gonna hear about it too much more. And that's when he hears, like, a bit of a commotion downstairs, obviously. All right, guys, I'm gonna interrupt the video for just 1 second. On screen now is actually a PlayStation gift card. I give a gift card away in every single video here on this channel as a way to just say thank you to everyone who's subscribed with those notifications on. If you are a member of that group, I really do appreciate it, but if you're not, be sure to subscribe, turn on those notifications if you want to win free money and like the videos. You're already 23 minutes in, so you got nothing to lose, and hey, you can always unsub if you don't like it, but yeah, on that note, I'll shut up. Big thank you to everyone subscribed with notifications on. It really does mean the absolute world, and enjoy the rest of the video. See you guys in a bit. Bye. So the kid goes downstairs and he realizes the commotion is somebody banging on the door, and his mom is standing there and she's like, "Who is it?" And he hears a man's voice on the other side and he's like, "Is your son here, you know?" And he says his name and she's like, "Well, why are you asking? Why are you banging on my door?" And he's like, "He broke my daughter's heart. I'm here to, make good on the threat I told him the other day." And the mom is like, "What are you talking about?" And the son at that point is just kind of standing at the bottom of the stairs, not really knowing what's going on. And the mom sees him and is like, "Who is this?" And the son kind of starts explaining that, like, it's the girl's dad that he just broke up with, and da-da-da-da-da, and he had just met them. And she's like, "You just broke up with the girl whose parents you just met?" And so he doesn't really have time to explain the situation to his mom. When the guy bangs on the door, he's like, "I hear you in there. You better come out here and face me like a man." Which, listen, dude, I understand it's gotta be hard to see your kid upset, but you cannot be showing up to people's houses to fight children, dog. Like, you're a 45-year-old man, bro. You got a 401k, you got a retirement plan, you probably have an RV. You can't just be showing up at 15-year-olds' houses being like, "I'm gonna beat you senseless," because I'm pretty sure A, that's illegal, and B, you're never gonna win that case, bro. Your Honor, sure, I might be a 47-year-old man that I pummeled a 15-year-old until he was unrecognizable, but if you hear me out, he was kind of a douche. Even if he was a douche, dog, you're 40. But keep in mind, this girl's dad is like severely out of shape. So the kid decides, you know what, I'm gonna go out there. So he goes out front and the dad's like, "Yeah, that's right. You're gonna face me like a man." And he's like, "Yeah, I am, bro. Like, what's your plan? What? You gonna beat me up, bro? You gonna beat me up?" And the dad kind of starts to be like, "Yeah, I am," and starts kind of walking towards him. And the kid just backs up, and the dad swings at him, and he just kind of dodges it because the dad is not very athletic, dude. It's not like he's got float like a butterfly, sting like a bee down. It's more like float like a 7-Eleven big gulp, and sting like, I don't know, heartburn after you eat Twinkies. Like, it was definitely not the same thing. So he's kind of swinging at the kid, and the kid's just kind of making him miss, and he's getting tired really, really quick. He's not even hitting the dad back. The dad's just making himself look silly. And obviously the mom at that point had gone to grab a phone, and she comes out and all she sees is this like grown adult trying to hit her son. So she starts freaking out and she's like, oh my God, which, is a pretty reasonable reaction for a mom. I'm pretty sure if my mom ever walked outside to a grown man trying to fight me, it would have been pretty similar. Either that or my mom would have just picked up a metal folding chair from the garage and like gotten involved herself, boom, knock somebody out like it's the WWE out here. That's just, Scrub's mom is built different. But she's freaking out, and finally she has the phone and she's like, "I'm gonna call the cops." I don't know why it took her so long to realize she could do that, but she says, "I'm gonna call the cops, get out of here." And suddenly when she says she's gonna call the cops, the dad just boom, lickety split, he's gone, hops back in his truck and is down the road before you can even say the words 911 hello. Like, he's just out of there. He probably realized pretty quick that there isn't a good explanation he could give anyone as to why he's fighting this kid, so it was just like a futile effort to try to get away with it, So he's out of there, and his mom's like, "Oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? Do I need to call the cops?" And the kid's like, "No, he's not gonna come back. Trust me, like, it's gonna be fine." And the mom and the kid go back inside, and like, he goes back upstairs to his room. He doesn't know how he was so calm. He's like, "I was pretty chill though." And he's just kind of sitting in his room, and like 5 minutes after the dad left, his phone starts going off, and it's the girl. He realizes it's the girl. He had removed her contact, but like the numbers popping up, and he ignores the first call, but she calls again. He ignores the second call. She calls again. He ignores the third call. You guys are getting the idea. He ends up ignoring like 12, 13 calls, and she just keeps calling. So finally, he answers, and she's crying. She's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't know my dad was gonna do that. Like, I'm sorry. And obviously he's like, I mean, it's fine. Obviously you're not your dad. But yeah, this is kind of part of the reason why we're breaking up. Like, your family literally just tried to show up and fight me in my front lawn, even though your dad's an adult." And she starts trying to say that, like, even though their love is forbidden, they can make it work. She starts trying to convince him to get back together with her. And he's like, "Listen, I appreciate the apology. I appreciate you taking the time to admit this is wild. But your dad literally just showed up at my house and tried to fight me, so I'm not sure if right now is the best time to ask me to, like, get back together with you, And even then, not quite sure if eventually I want my father-in-law being somebody that tried to throw hands with me when I was a kid. Yet, be careful around grandpa's, sonny. You say the wrong thing and he might literally try to fight you. You think I'm kidding, but trust me, when I was 15, your mom's dad tried to do it." And she starts getting pissy with him again, and she's like, "I'll just send my dad back over there." And obviously the kid at this point has had enough, and he's like, "Do it and we'll call the cops again." And she hung up at that point, just click, thinking that she had like won the argument. And the kid is just kind of sitting there stupefied at this entire situation, dude. And after that, the girl would basically like call him every other day and apologize. And when he would not accept it, she would start getting mad at him and be like, "You're such a jerk for not letting people apologize, da 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 da." And then she'd be like, "I'm sorry for yelling," you know, like that type of situation. And he was just kind of over it. But regardless, dude, that's the situation that you can get yourself into sometimes, all right? Don't be a simp. That's the moral of the story. Real talk, though, if you enjoyed, I know this was a much longer video than normal. I would really, really appreciate you pressing the like button. When the longer videos do better, get more likes, comments, all that stuff, it just makes me know that y'all want them more, and I'm definitely thankful for all the support regardless. But if you wouldn't mind pressing that button and commenting the word, I don't know, poop sock down below, I'd appreciate it. If y'all want more content, subscribe, turn on notifications, and check out my podcast called The Scuffed Cast. I'll put a link down below. It's just me and the boys talking about internet stuff and video games, so feel free to give it a listen if you want something in the background while you game. Yeah, other than that, the intro song can also be found in the description down below, along with a link to the merch store where you can check out all the swag-tastic merch we got. And yeah, if you got cool subscriber stories, send them to my Instagram @Scrubby, Twitter @Scrubby_69. But on that note, don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I will see you guys all next time with another video. I'm out. Peace.